Have you ever mixed yogurt with other foods and wondered why you felt bloated or sluggish afterward? Many people assume that yogurt pairs beautifully with just about anything thanks to its creamy texture, subtle tang, and reputation as a healthy snack or breakfast staple. But doctors now warn that combining yogurt with certain specific foods can silently wreak havoc on your gut and overall health. In this video, we're going to talk about 4 foods that you should never eat together with yogurt if you want to protect your digestion, maintain a balanced microbiome, and avoid unwanted complications. By the end of this discussion, you'll understand exactly why this combination can be so detrimental, how it can impact everything from nutrient absorption to immunity, and what you can do instead to keep your gut flora thriving. Stay with me until the very last paragraph, because the 4th food might be something you regularly add to your yogurt without thinking twice, yet it can escalate from a minor inconvenience to a serious health concern over time. It's easy to think that yogurt is an all-purpose health food. After all, it's loaded with probiotics, contains protein, and can be a satisfying snack that doesn't weigh you down like heavier meals. But that's also why so many people make the mistake of combining it with the wrong ingredients. The probiotic benefit of yogurt depends on a delicate balance of friendly bacteria that help your body digest food, absorb nutrients, and even regulate mood. If you pair it with something that disrupts those beneficial bacteria or creates an uncomfortable chemical reaction in your stomach, you could be undoing one of the biggest benefits of eating yogurt in the first place. Before we jump into the 4 foods themselves, let's talk briefly about what makes yogurt so valuable. A good quality yogurt, especially one with live and active cultures, is teeming with bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. These microbes not only enhance digestion, but can help crowd out harmful bacteria in your gut. Some experts believe that a well-maintained population of gut-friendly bacteria may reduce inflammation throughout the body, support immune function, and even help manage weight by influencing metabolism. But here's the problem. These beneficial microbes can be quite sensitive. The environment in which they thrive has to have a somewhat balanced pH, not too much sugar, and minimal exposure to chemicals or additives that might kill them off. That's why combining yogurt with ingredients that drastically alter the gut environment can lead to what some doctors term a silent gut killer, where the slow deterioration of your gut flora goes unnoticed until you start experiencing chronic digestive issues, unexplained fatigue, or even compromised immunity. Let's begin with the first food that doctors warn you should never eat with yogurt: processed cereals or sugary granolas. Many people toss a handful of sweet cereal into their yogurt, thinking it's a quick and nutritious breakfast. The problem lies in the high sugar content and the presence of artificial flavors, preservatives, and even hydrogenated oils that some cereals contain. When you introduce all that sugar and those additives into the yogurt, it sparks a fermentation storm in your gut. The excess sugar feeds not only the probiotic bacteria but also potentially harmful bacteria and yeasts. This can lead to bloating, gas, and an imbalanced gut environment. Over time, constant feeding of high-sugar cereals can shift the ratio of beneficial to harmful bacteria in your digestive tract, undermining the very reason you chose yogurt in the first place. Moreover, many mass-produced cereals include refined carbohydrates that cause a rapid spike in blood sugar, leading to an inevitable crash a short while later. You might blame the yogurt for your energy slump, but in reality it's this high-sugar cereal that disrupts your metabolism. Another hidden concern is that some cereals are coated with artificial vitamins or flavors, which can interact poorly with the natural components of yogurt, contributing to a digestive burden. If you must have a crunchy topping, try swapping those sugary cereals with raw nuts or seeds. These not only provide a bit of texture, but also healthy fats and proteins that support rather than sabotage your gut microbes. The second problematic item is citrus fruit juice, or highly acidic fruits when mixed directly with yogurt. You may have come across breakfast parfait recipes that include layers of yogurt and citrus segments. Or you might pour a bit of orange or grapefruit juice over your yogurt thinking you're boosting vitamin intake. But the high acidity of citrus interacts with dairy proteins in a way that can cause curdling or over-fermentation. This can translate into stomach discomfort, cramping, or unpleasant acid reflux, especially for those sensitive to acidity. Yogurt already contains lactic acid, and introducing a strong citric acid on top of that can overload your system. The result? You might find that your supposed healthy combo leaves you with a sour feeling in your stomach, leading to heartburn or indigestion. Moreover, some of the beneficial bacteria in yogurt may struggle to survive in an environment that's suddenly a lot more acidic than what they're accustomed to. Of course, this doesn't mean you should avoid citrus fruits altogether. They're an excellent source of vitamin C, antioxidants, and fiber if eaten properly. The key is timing. If you enjoy both yogurt and citrus, consider having them at different times of the day rather than in one dish. Let your body process the yogurt fully before adding something that might disrupt its bacterial balance or overall digestibility. If you really want fruit with your yogurt, opt for less acidic choices like berries, bananas, or peaches, all of which complement yogurt without placing too much strain on your digestive system. Those fruits are generally milder in acid content and tend to mesh more harmoniously with the probiotic cultures. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, comment "gut" below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so and turn on notifications so you don't miss upcoming videos on how to maximize your health and well-being at any age. You'd be surprised how a few subtle changes in your diet can transform your digestion, energy, and mood for the better. Now, let's move forward to the third food you should never mix with yogurt, and this one might catch you off guard. It's processed or cured meats, such as bacon bits, pepperoni, or even certain types of smoked fish. You might be thinking, who in the world pairs yogurt with bacon or smoked salmon? But you'd be surprised. Some people enjoy adding small bits of savory meats to a yogurt-based sauce or dip, or they might add yogurt as a marinade for certain dishes that also include processed meats. The danger here lies in the high sodium content, chemical additives like nitrates, and the heavy amounts of saturated fat often found in cured meats. This combination is problematic for multiple reasons. First, sodium in large quantities disrupts fluid balance in the gut, which can irritate the delicate environment that probiotic bacteria need. Second, certain additives in processed meats can create a chemical reaction with the lactic acid in yogurt, further stressing your digestive system. Some studies suggest that nitrates and nitrites can form harmful compounds in the presence of lactic acid bacteria, undermining the potential health benefits of the yogurt. Add to that the saturated fat, and you've got a recipe for a digestion slowdown. Instead of benefiting from yogurt's relatively easy-to-digest proteins, you're mixing it with a heavy load that can linger in your gut, possibly leading to constipation, acid reflux, or that uncomfortable brick in the stomach sensation. If you love the idea of a savory yogurt sauce or marinade, consider using lean meats without added chemicals, like a plain grilled chicken breast, rather than something processed. Or explore using herbs, garlic, and onions to bring depth of flavor without the added chemical burden. The result is a dish that works with your body, not against it. Finally, we arrive at the fourth food, artificial sweeteners. Many people who are trying to cut back on sugar might stir an artificial sweetener like aspartame, sucralose, or saccharin into plain yogurt, believing they're making a healthier choice by avoiding refined sugar. The problem is that some of these artificial sweeteners can significantly disrupt the gut microbiome. Research has shown that certain artificial sweeteners may alter the composition and function of gut bacteria, contributing to issues like glucose intolerance or even metabolic syndrome over time. The gut is often referred to as your second brain because of its vast network of nerves and the influence it has on mood, immunity, and overall health. When you mix artificial sweeteners with yogurt, you risk damaging the beneficial bacteria you're trying to nourish. Moreover, many commercial diet yogurts already contain these sweeteners, so adding even more on top of that can amplify the negative effects. Some people experience bloating, gas, or a strange aftertaste that makes them question if yogurt really agrees with them. In reality, it's likely the sweeteners causing the chaos. If you genuinely want to sweeten your yogurt, choose a small drizzle of raw honey or real maple syrup, used sparingly. Or opt for naturally sweet fruits like ripe peaches or strawberries. These options provide some additional nutrients and fiber, helping to stabilize your blood sugar instead of shocking your gut ecosystem with chemicals it wasn't built to handle. Now that we've identified these four risky combinations, you might be asking how they can be so damaging to the gut when individually Many of these foods are harmless or even healthy in moderation. The key word here is synergy. Certain foods, when eaten together, can create an environment in your stomach that's either too acidic, too sugary, too loaded with chemicals, or too reliant on heavy fats and sodium. Yogurt's unique probiotic properties can become compromised under these conditions, turning a nutritious staple into something that might do more harm than good. Over time, this can manifest as low-grade digestive complaints, recurring digestive complaints, or even subtle shifts in your metabolism that contribute to weight gain, difficulty regulating blood sugar, or heightened food sensitivities. Another factor to consider is the individual variation in gut flora. Each of us harbors a unique microbial fingerprint. Some people might feel immediate discomfort when combining yogurt with a particular food, while others may notice only mild or delayed effects. But doctors warn that just because you don't feel an instant reaction doesn't mean your gut isn't quietly suffering. The microbiome shifts can be gradual and cumulative. You might be able to get away with these unwise combinations for months or even years without dramatic symptoms. But eventually, your system could protest in the form of chronic bloating, irregular bowel movements, skin issues like rashes or acne, increased susceptibility to colds, or even mental fog. The silent killer aspect is exactly this. You don't know it's happening until it's become a real issue. That's why it's crucial to take steps now rather than waiting for a crisis to occur. You might be wondering, does this mean I have to give up yogurt altogether? Absolutely not. Yogurt can be a fantastic addition to your diet if you choose the right kind, plain, unsweetened, full of live cultures, and avoid mixing it with the 4 troublemakers we discussed. Keep in mind that not all yogurt is created equal. Some mass-market yogurts are already brimming with artificial flavors, high-fructose corn syrup, and stabilizers that might diminish its probiotic benefits. Always read labels carefully. Look for live and active cultures on the packaging, minimal added sugars, and short ingredient lists. A good rule of thumb is that the fewer ingredients, the more likely it is to be a wholesome product. And if you're lactose intolerant or sensitive to dairy, there are plant-based yogurts on the market made from coconut, almond, or soy milk, which can still supply beneficial probiotics while being gentler on your system. Just be sure those alternative yogurts don't include the same harmful additives that could nullify their benefits. Now, you may also be curious about timing. Some experts suggest that if you truly enjoy certain combinations, like the occasional fruit juice or a bit of sweetness in your yogurt, spacing out your consumption might help. For instance, you could have your yogurt plain in the morning or with low-acid fruit, then have your citrus juice later in the day as a snack on its own. This way, you allow your gut to process each item without forcing them to battle one another in a single meal. If you're dealing with gut issues such as irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, acid reflux, or a history of food sensitivities, being extra mindful of how you combine foods can make a huge difference. In some cases, working with a nutritionist or gastroenterologist can help you tailor a meal plan that maximizes the benefits of probiotic foods like yogurt while minimizing stress on your digestive system. Another question people often ask is whether cooking or baking with yogurt changes its compatibility with these ingredients. When you heat yogurt, you do risk killing off some of the beneficial bacteria, so the probiotic aspect may be reduced. However, you also alter the structure of certain foods when you cook them, which can make them more or less aggravating. For example, some vegetables or fruits that are highly acidic might become easier to digest once they're cooked down into a sauce. The bigger concern is whether the chemical additives or artificial sweeteners survive the cooking process and still exert negative effects. In general, if your goal is to keep the probiotic cultures intact, it's best to consume yogurt cold or at room temperature, and be selective about what else you throw into the mix. If you've stayed with me this long, please let me know by commenting health below. By recognizing these hidden pitfalls, you're already a step ahead of many people who unknowingly sabotage their gut each day. Remember, your digestive system is incredibly sophisticated, but also delicate in certain respects. The beneficial bacteria in yogurt can be a powerful ally in maintaining a healthy balance, but only if you treat them right. Think of these microbes as honored guests that need a welcoming environment to flourish. Dumping a load of sugar, acids, chemicals, or heavily processed fats onto them is akin to inviting someone to stay in your home and then blasting music at all hours, cutting off the power randomly, and painting the walls with noxious chemicals. Sooner or later they'll leave or be forced into survival mode, and their benefits will vanish. One more angle to consider is the role of stress in gut health. Even if you're eating the perfect combination of foods, chronic stress or anxiety can reduce the diversity and resiliency of your gut microbiome. That's why many doctors emphasize not just nutritional balance, but also lifestyle factors like regular exercise, sufficient sleep, and stress management through methods like mindfulness or gentle stretching exercises. A well-rounded approach ensures that when you do enjoy your yogurt, you're creating an overall environment in your body that supports health and longevity. Let's briefly review what we've covered. The first danger is pairing yogurt with overly sugary or processed cereals, which can lead to fermentation overdrive in your gut and nurture harmful microbes. The second is mixing yogurt with highly acidic fruit juices or citrus segments, causing potential acid overload, curdling, and discomfort. The third is combining yogurt with processed or cured meats, which carry excessive salt, nitrates, and saturated fats that can disturb the probiotic balance and weigh down your digestive system. And the fourth and final problem is adding artificial sweeteners to yogurt, a hidden trap that may disrupt beneficial bacteria and contribute to metabolic imbalances. Each of these combos can erode the silent but essential population of healthy microbes in your gut, turning what should be a probiotic blessing into a gastrointestinal curse. Fortunately, the solutions are fairly straightforward. Stick to cleaner, minimally processed foods, pay attention to how different ingredients interact, and adopt a mindful approach to your overall diet. Because the damage from these combinations is often silent, you may not notice an immediate effect. However, over time you might see patterns like chronic bloating, erratic bowel movements, persistent fatigue, or more frequent colds and infections. Some individuals even experience skin breakouts or heightened food sensitivities as their gut lining becomes more permeable and less regulated. If you see these red flags in yourself or someone you care about, consider eliminating these risky yogurt pairings to see if it makes a difference. Of course, always consult a healthcare provider for personalized advice if symptoms are severe or ongoing. You might also wonder if there are any beneficial combinations you should consider instead. Many nutritionists recommend mixing plain yogurt with fresh berries, a small amount of raw honey, or even seeds like chia or flax for extra fiber. Leafy greens like spinach or kale can also blend well in a smoothie with yogurt, as they're lower in acid and provide essential vitamins and minerals. Another potential booster is mixing yogurt with turmeric or ginger for their anti-inflammatory properties, though you'll want to keep sweeteners to a minimum to maintain the probiotic environment. The key takeaway is to focus on whole foods, natural sweetness, and moderate acidity if you want to preserve the gut-friendly benefits. For those who might worry about losing out on certain flavors, think of it this way. Your health is an investment, not a short-term indulgence. If you absolutely love citrus or cured meats, nobody says you have to banish them from your diet forever. Just think about spacing them out, or enjoying them with foods that don't clash with their chemical profiles. And if you're hooked on artificial sweeteners, it might be worth experimenting with alternatives like stevia, monk fruit extract, or simply re-educating your palate to enjoy less sweetness overall. Over time, many people find they appreciate the natural tang of plain yogurt and can taste subtleties they missed when they were bombarding it with sugary cereals or syrups. One final piece of advice: always listen to your body. If you feel uncomfortably full, gassy, or experience acid reflux after certain meals, make a note of what you ate. Patterns might emerge that point to specific combos damaging your digestion. Sometimes it's not just the yogurt, but the entire meal context, like having it right before bed or pairing it with other heavy foods. Keeping a small food journal for a couple of weeks can offer surprising insights into how your gut responds to different foods and times of day. Self-awareness is a powerful tool in preventing the silent decay of your gut health. As we near the end of this video, I want to emphasize that not all gut issues are caused solely by bad food combinations. There can be underlying conditions like bacterial imbalances, fungal overgrowth, or even emotional stress playing a role. But eliminating these 4 risky pairings is a big step toward protecting your internal ecosystem. If you found value in this talk, please consider sharing it with someone you know who might be making these mistakes. Educating each other is part of how we cultivate better health on a wider scale. Thank you for staying with me through this entire discussion. If you haven't already, take a moment to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let me know if you've ever noticed bloating or discomfort when mixing yogurt with foods you thought were harmless, or share any improvements you've made to your diet that helped your gut. Hearing from you not only supports the channel, but it may also inspire someone else who's struggling with hidden digestive woes. Remember, knowledge is the first step to change, and small tweaks can yield big improvements in how you feel every day. You deserve to eat well, live well, and harness the power of yogurt's probiotics without sabotaging them with ill-advised combinations. Take care of your gut, protect those friendly bacteria, and enjoy the real benefits that yogurt can offer when consumed in harmony with the right foods. Your body will thank you with better digestion, a stronger immune response, and a clearer mind. Here's to a happier, healthier you, one spoonful at a time. Let's keep discovering how little choices in our daily meals can add up to a lifetime of wellness. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, be mindful of what you mix with your yogurt, stay curious, and remember that your health is always worth the extra effort.